A beautiful girl wanted to surprise her boyfriend on his birthday. She prepared a gift and went to find him, only to unexpectedly discover he wasn't busy with work, but had forgotten her birthday and was being intimate with another woman. To get revenge on him, Nan Zhixi accidentally bumped into a handsome and elegant man. As she was leaving, she hastily proposed sleeping with him. Then, just as planned, the scumbag boyfriend showed up and witnessed the scene of the girl and the handsome man in bed together. He was furious and wanted to teach them a lesson, but after discovering the man's identity, he was scared out of his wits. His legs went weak, and he fled in a panic. From then on, their romantic story of love and hate officially began. Back to that day, under the brilliant lights of a luxurious corridor, a beautiful woman walked with confidence and charm. She is our female protagonist, Nan Zhixi. Nancy was in a good mood today. Jiang Chai is so busy he even forgot his own birthday. Luckily, I marked it on the calendar in advance. Arriving at the door of a certain room, Nan Zhixi was a little surprised. Why wasn't the door closed? Next, she peeked through the crack in the door. After seeing the scene inside, her eyes widened in an instant. In the room, a strange woman was writhing on top of Jiang Chai, saying coquettishly, "Oh my, you're so naughty, darling. I think I feel someone outside the door." Jiang Chai paid no mind, continuing to plant passionate kisses on the woman's neck. "Sweetheart, don't get distracted." The woman moaned softly. Nan Zhixi stumbled back in a panic. The bag in her hand fell to the floor with a thud. Inside was an exquisite fruit box. Disappointed, Nan Zhixi quickly turned, and this what he calls being busy. So he was on a date with someone else, a true master of time management. Tears blurred Nan Zhixi's vision, and she accidentally bumped into a tall man. After steadying herself, she awkwardly reached up to wipe away her tears that "I'm sorry." Seeing her tear-filled eyes, the man's heart skipped a beat. "It's her." Nan Zhixi turned to leave, rubbing her eyes non-stop. "No, I can't cry here." The man suddenly reached out and stopped Nan Zhixi. She looked back in alarm, and after seeing his face clearly, she exclaimed, "You are Deputy CEO Fu." She remembered that in order to discuss a partnership with the Fu Corporation, she had researched their president's profile. Although it wasn't successful in the end, she never expected to meet him here. The president of the Fu Corporation, Fu Hanzhou, stared blankly at her tear-stained face, sighing to himself. She hasn't changed a bit. Then he asked softly, "Does this lady need help?" Nan Zhixi lowered her head, unconsciously biting her lip tightly. "Help? How can you help?" "Help me beat up that cheating scumbag." Wait, she suddenly recalled a series of impressive keywords associated with the name Fu Hanzhou, such as president of the Fu Corporation, famous entrepreneur, top heir, with the corporation's industries covering real estate, healthcare, hotels. Thinking that perhaps he could really help her get revenge on that scumbag, Nan Zhixi suddenly took a step forward, moving closer to Fu Hanzhou. "Deputy CEO Fu, do you really want to help me?" With just that one sentence, the two of them ended up entangled in another room. After finishing a passionate kiss with him, Nan Zhixi clung to Fu Hanzhou's shoulders, panting for breath. Just then, Jiang Chai's panicked voice suddenly sounded from outside the door. "Nan Zhixi." But Nan Zhixi couldn't be bothered to respond. She continued to lean in, kissing Fu Hanzhou passionately. Seeing this, Jiang Chai's eyes widened fiercely, and he roared, "Nan Zhixi, are you looking for death?" and was about to rush forward. To teach them both a lesson, Fu Hanzhou quickly wrapped his arm around Nan Zhixi's waist, spinning her around. He gave Jiang Chai a chilling look. Jiang Chai's steps froze. After getting a clear look at the face of the man kissing his girlfriend, he recognized the president of the Fu Corporation. "Fu Hanzhou, how could it be him?" Jiang Chai couldn't help but feel scared. He took small steps backward and left the room. Fu Hanzhou also took the opportunity to gently kick the door shut. As soon as the door was closed, he asked impatiently, "Is this your first time?" Nan Zhixi answered shyly. After this sentence, a trace of satisfaction flashed in Fu Hanzhou's eyes. He suddenly lifted Nan Zhixi into his arms and walked towards a nearby bed, then gently put her down. But then, as if remembering something, Fu Hanzhou asked unhappily, was this room prepared for him? Nan Zhixi gently caressed the man's handsome face and smiled charmingly. Now it's prepared for Deputy CEO Fu. You heard me. Don't regret it. Fu Hanzhou's voice deepened slightly. Nan Zhixi decisively took off his glasses and chuckled. Regret what? Besides, President Fu is indeed handsome. I'm not losing out either. Fu Hanzhou warned her, don't tease me, or you won't be able to handle it later. Nan Zhixi slowly undid his neatly tied tie. President Fu can give it a try. Fu Hanzhou said no more. He lowered his head and gently bit Nan Zhixi's alluring collarbone. She couldn't help but let out a moan, and the strap of her dress was pulled aside. Fu Hanzhou. Nan Zhixi blushed at his sudden movement. President Fu, are you always in such a hurry? You'll find out soon enough. Fu Hanzhou replied with a light laugh. The next day, at a little past 4 a.m., Nan Zhixi woke up after a night of passion and finally had time to check her phone. Her notifications showed 32 missed calls. Nan Zhixi's lips curled into a smile. Over 30 calls, looks like Jiang Chai is really anxious. But instead of replying to him, I'd rather go back to the office and work overtime. At least my boss pays me, while all he knows is how to betray me. A click interrupted her thoughts. Nan Zhixi jumped, looking up to see Fu Hanzhou coming out of the shower, looking at the faint outline of his abs. Nan Zhixi's face quietly turned red. He hasn't left yet. She subconsciously called out Fu Hanzhou's name. President Fu, I don't think it's appropriate for you to look at me like this. Fu Hanzhou was silent for a moment, then suddenly moved closer to her and said in a low voice, one more time, would you mind? I'm sorry, I'm a bit addicted. The next morning, Nan Zhixi woke up aching all over. She rubbed her hands and oh, I have to leave quickly before Fu Hanzhou wakes up. Last night was just an accident. I need to forget it quickly. A moment later, Nan Zhixi left the hotel. She moved her aching body with difficulty, her eyes focused on her phone. This is the suburbs. How am I going to get a cab this early? A luxury car suddenly stopped in front of her, and the window slowly rolled down. The person sitting inside was none other than young Master Lu Zhixi. Lu Zhixi said cheerfully to Nan Zhixi, Miss Nan, where are you going? It's hard to get a cab at this hour. We can give you a ride. Nan Zhixi was a little surprised, murmuring to herself, young Master Lu, I remember having the honor of meeting you a few times when I attended parties with Jiang Chai. Everyone says Lu Zhixi is a gentleman with great style. It should be fine to take his car. With this thought, Nan Zhixi happily accepted Lu Zhixi's kind offer. Then I'll have to trouble young Master Lu. As soon as she opened the car door, her eyes widened in surprise. Fu Hanzhou, whom she had gone to great lengths to wake up early to avoid, was sitting right inside. Nan Zhixi scolded herself. How did I not notice that, young Master Lu said. Seeing Nan Zhixi standing there dumbfounded, Fu Hanzhou asked playfully, not getting in. In for a penny, in for a pound. Nan Zhixi gritted her teeth and got in the car. She looked at Fu Hanzhou awkwardly and greeted him. President Fu is here too. Fu Hanzhou replied calmly. What a coincidence. Nan Zhixi lowered her head in embarrassment. She prayed silently, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me. Lu Zhixi suddenly turned around and called out, Miss Nan, but before she could answer, she was silenced by a glare from Fu Hanzhou. Lu Zhixi froze and quickly turned his head away. He felt a chill run down his spine and couldn't stop shivering, but his hands were still typing furiously. Congratulations on the iron tree blooming. Our old Fu has fallen for a woman. The other end of the phone replied instantly. Who? Lu Zhixi. Are you drunk and talking nonsense? How is that possible? A moment later, the car stopped at the high-end ex-residential complex. Lu Zhixi turned to the back seat, looked happily from one to the other for a moment, and then got out of the car. Looks like you two know each other. This is my stop, so I won't disturb you. Hanzhou, make sure to take Miss Nan home. Only the two of them were left in the car. Nan Zhixi looked at Fu Hanzhou in confusion. President Fu, you could go ahead. My home is very close from here. No need to see me off. Fu Hanzhou immediately pulled her back. Are you afraid of me? Weren't you very bold last night? Nan Zhixi said softly in embarrassment. If I remember correctly, President Fu and I were just a consensual one-night stand. You're not planning to hold me accountable now, are you? Fu Hanzhou took off his glasses. He looked deeply into Nan Zhixi's eyes. Of course not. Miss Nan, are you interested in being my long-term partner? Nan Zhixi's heart skipped a beat, but she quickly came to her senses and backed away in horror. I refuse. She screamed internally. Doesn't everyone in the circle say Fu Hanzhou is cold towards women? Could it be a rumor? The phone in her pocket suddenly vibrated, breaking the awkward atmosphere. Nan Zhixi picked up her phone, and Jiang Chai's vicious voice came through. Still not answering my calls? I'm standing at the entrance of your complex waiting for you. Just try not coming back. I have plenty of ways to deal with you. Don't think that just because you've latched on to Fu Hanzhou, he'll value you. Is he short of women like you? Nan Zhixi turned off her phone and sighed. This lunatic Jiang Chai. Nan Zhixi forced a smile. President Fu, I answered too quickly just now. Actually, I haven't made up my mind yet. Would you like to come up to my place for a bit? On the surface, she was calm, but inside, her mind was in turmoil. How does it feel like things are getting more and more out of control? Safely inside the complex's elevator, Nan Zhixi breathed a sigh of relief, glad to have made it upstairs smoothly. A moment later, the elevator chimed with a ding, indicating its arrival. The elevator doors opened, and the aunties from the complex crowded in. Fu Hanzhou suddenly reached out to support Nan Zhixi's waist. An auntie suddenly recognized Nan Zhixi. Her gaze swept over their intimate posture, and she covered her mouth in surprise. Isn't this little Nan? Is this your boyfriend? Nan Zhixi quickly waved her hands. Hello, Auntie Lu. This isn't my boyfriend, just a friend. Auntie Lu's expression became even more amiable, her eyes crinkling with a smile, the way young people interact these days. Hee, I get it. Nan Zhixi knew that no amount of explaining could beat the auntie's imagination. She grabbed Fu Hanzhou's hand and ran out like the wind. This is my floor. Let's chat another day, Annie. Arriving at her door, Nan Zhixi said politely, please come in. But Fu Hanzhou had no intention of being polite with the hostess. He turned and dominantly pinned Nan Zhixi against the wall. Friend? Can a friend enter your home like this? Seeing Nan Zhixi didn't answer, he changed the subject. Why the sudden change of heart? Nan Zhixi was at a loss for words, her mind in a mess. How was she supposed to explain this? After all, she couldn't solve one problem by creating an even bigger one, could she? Nan Zhixi asked softly, President Fu, do you want to hear the truth or a lie? Fu Hanzhou affectionately kissed Nan Zhixi's cheek, his lips barely moving. Is the truth the answer I want? I only want to hear what makes me happy. The phone in Nan Zhixi's pocket rang at the right moment. His good mood interrupted. Fu Hanzhou unhappily took out the phone. Seeing the name displayed on the screen, he let out an even more displeased tisk. As soon as the call connected, Jiang Chai started yelling, You dare to bring Fu Hanzhou home? What have you two been doing in there for so long? Nan Zhixi, I'm telling you, you won't last in the company without me. If you know what's good for you, kick Fu Hanzhou out immediately. Nan Zhixi frowned at the phone, her hand clenching unconsciously. This bastard, relying on his father's power to do whatever he wants in the company. Fu Hanzhou suddenly turned her chin towards him and kissed her. Without hesitation, Nan Zhixi was caught off guard, a slight sound escaping her throat. On the other end of the line, Jiang Chai was still roaring, Nan Zhixi, what are you doing? Get your ass down here, do you hear me? Nan Zhixi gritted her teeth in anger. Why don't you come up yourself? Call Fu Hanzhou if you have the guts. But in reality, she bit her lip. Fu Hanzhou caressed her cheek. Don't bite. Moan for him. Under Fu Hanzhou's watchful gaze, Nan Zhixi raised her hands to wrap around his neck. The kiss lasted for several minutes before it ended. Fu Hanzhou took off his cumbersome glasses and praised her in a low voice. A wise choice. The atmosphere gradually heated up, sparks of passion flying everywhere, until the ringing of a phone mercilessly extinguished the fire. Nan Zhixi glanced at the phone in Fu Hanzhou's hand. Do you have something to attend to? The only answer she got was a series of long tones. Fu Hanzhou had hung up without hesitation. Looking at the name displayed on the screen, Nan Zhixi sneered internally. Jiang Chai, forget about confronting him directly. You don't even have the courage to call Fu Hanzhou. How pathetic. Fu Hanzhou suddenly moved closer. Nan Zhixi didn't expect the price of provoking. Jiang Chai would be this high. Fu Hanzhou swept her up in a princess carry. Caught off guard, she instinctively let out a small ah. Being moved in this manner, it wasn't hard to guess the destination. They devoured each other, starting from the doorway, then the living room, then the bathroom, and finally ended up entangled in the bedroom. It was a very long night. The next morning, soft sunlight streamed in through the window, blanketing Fu Hanzhou's sturdy back. He had been awake for a while, but was reluctant to get up. He gazed at Nan Zhixi's face, his hand unconsciously caressing her body. Nan Zhixi mumbled groggily, Fu Hanzhou really knows how to play. Even if Xiaochuan were to find a girl, he wouldn't get this kind of preferential treatment. Fu Hanzhou suddenly spoke. How does it feel to take advantage of me? Nan Zhixi, she let out a tired, soft hum. Fu Hanzhou lowered his head and gently kissed her forehead. I'll give you a week to think about it. I hope to hear a satisfactory answer. Nan Zhixi completely forgot about what Fu Hanzhou had said in the following days. It was just a momentary infatuation. She never intended to get involved with Fu Hanzhou. Looking at the notification on her screen, Nan Zhixi thought angrily. Another distributor terminated the contract for no reason. The operations were clearly going smoothly. It must be Jiang Chai pulling strings behind scenes. But misfortunes never come singly. In the distance, a female colleague ran over in a panic. Nan Zhixi, something's happened. All the distributors you're in charge of have suddenly terminated their contracts. Nan Zhixi turned around in shock. What did you say? She took the phone from her colleague's hand, her lips tightening unconsciously. The contact saved as President Chong had just sent a message. Miss Nan, I see you've run into some trouble lately. Come to the Emperor's Club tonight, my treat. Let's all clear up the misunderstanding. Nan Zhixi bit her lip in frustration. I'm at a critical stage of competing for the position of director of the administration department. No, I can't let all my efforts go to waste. That night, at the Emperor's Club, a glamorous woman pushed open the door with confidence. This person was none other than Nan Zhixi. Compared to her usual serious businesswoman aura, the atmosphere in the room was filled with debauchery. A young master with sunken eyes, looking like an addict, spoke up. Oh, isn't this Jiang Chai's little darling? I thought it was a new PR lady. The frail-looking guy next to him immediately chimed in. Jiang Chai's darling has a really nice figure. Jiang Chai sneered. What darling? She's just got a face that knows how to deceive people. She's no good. On the surface, he was putting on a brave face to save his pride, but inside he was grinding his teeth in hatred. Damn it, she never slept with me since we met, yet she dares to climb into someone else's bed. The frail-looking guy teased. Oh, did the beauty not serve you well, making our young Master Jiang angry? Hurry up and come over. Pour some wine to coax young Master Jiang. Nan Zhixi's face turned green, seeing her still standing there. Jiang Chai said with displeasure, Aren't you here to apologize today? Come over and drink these few glasses of wine, and I'll give you a chance to kneel and kowtow an apology. The corner of Nan Zhixi's mouth suddenly curled up, and she abruptly put on a charming smile. Young Master Jiang, if I finish this glass of wine, will you let me go? For a moment, Jiang Chai's face flushed, his eyes unconsciously following her every move. The simple-minded guys around them started hooting excitedly. Drink, drink, drink. Jiang Chai snapped back to his senses and waved his hand. You drink first, then we'll talk. The smile on Nan Zhixi's lips didn't change. All right, I'll drink. Seeing her being so obedient, Jiang Chai breathed a sigh of relief. So you know how powerful I am now? I was so good to you, and you dare to cheat on me. Before he could finish his thought, the entire glass of wine was poured directly over his head. Nan Zhixi said coldly, enunciating every word, You bastard, you cheated on me, and you have the nerve to curse me out? Did you think I was too easy to bully? Without your dad, you're nothing. So what if I cheated? You deserve it. Jiang Chai angrily raised his hand to hit her, but unfortunately, Nan Zhixi's hand landed on his face first. Trash. Jiang Chai went crazy, grabbing her hand and shouting, You dare to hit me? Nan Zhixi, you're finished. I'm telling you, you're finished. Nan Zhixi struggled to break free. Don't touch me. In the middle of the confrontation, a mocking voice suddenly came from the doorway. Jiang Chai, what's this lively party? Why didn't you invite us? Jiang Chai and Nan Zhixi turned their heads at the same time. Fu Hanzhou and Lu Xingxi were standing at the door, who knows for how long. The blue-haired man's voice trembled. Fu Hanzhou, why are you here? Please, have a seat, have a seat. Fu Hanzhou sat down and said his first words since entering the room. Come here. Jiang Chai understood who Fu Hanzhou was calling, and the more he understood, the angrier he got. That damn woman. No wonder she dared to come alone. She had called Fu Hanzhou for backup. Fu Hanzhou stared coldly into Jiang Chai's resentful eyes. Jiang Chai immediately felt scared and awkwardly let go of her hand. Freed, Nan Zhixi looked at Fu Hanzhou with tears in her eyes. Fu Hanzhou smirked. Do I have to come over and get you myself? She obediently went over and sat beside him, saying in a low voice, Thank you. At the same time, she secretly plotted, I have to find an excuse to slip away. Fu Hanzhou suddenly leaned in, murmuring in a low voice, you're really brave, daring to come here alone. Nan Zhixi was startled, complaining internally. When did he get so close? Now that she was sitting intimately next to the handsome Fu Hanzhou, the others were on pins and needles, whispering among themselves. The silver-haired man glanced nervously at the two sitting intimately on the sofa. No wonder she dared to make a move on Jiangchai's turf. This Nan Zhixi has some skills. The gray-haired one guessed. Fu Hanzhou is staking his claim. The blue-haired one added, she's latched onto Fu Hanzhou again. Jiangchai is done for this time. Jiangchai's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He gritted his teeth and said, Brother Hanzhou, are you willing to break off our brotherhood for a woman? Someone asked curiously, when did you two become brothers? Another advised him, come on, do you really want to offend Fu Hanzhou? Jiangchai clenched his fists, thinking frantically, no, if I back down today, how will I ever show my face in this circle again? At least I can't let that woman go. He suddenly waved his hand, intending to lunge at Nan Zhixi. You little bitch. Nan Zhixi, get over here. It's all your fault. Fu Hanzhou watched his crazed state with a cold expression. The next second, an ashtray was smashed hard against Jiangchai's head, and a pool of blood splattered on the floor. Jiangchai clutched his head, groaning in pain. Fu Hanzhou's voice was bone-chillingly cold. It seems I've been too lenient with you. Contact Zhang Bin and have him take his son home. His voice was so cold, but the hand he placed on Nan Zhixi's shoulder was incredibly warm. Her heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Jiang Che was dragged away by two bodyguards, struggling constantly. Let go of me, and the rest of the young masters also made excuses to slip away. I suddenly remembered I have urgent business at home, so I won't stay any longer. Then I'll be leaving too. President Fu, I didn't mean to give Miss in a hard time. I'll definitely visit to apologize another day. Just like that, only the two of them were left in the room. Fu Hanzhou pinched Nan Zhixi's chin. I save you again. What are you going to repay me with this time? She awkwardly turned her head away. I don't know what President Fu wants. She was still holding back. The implication in Fu Hanzhou's words was too obvious. But why her? Fu Hanzhou took the opportunity to whisper in her ear. Tell me, have you missed me these past few days? Nan Zhixi. She shook her head, trying to steady her mind against Fu Hanzhou's charming offensive. She secretly glanced at Fu Hanzhou, thinking, how would I have time to think about you? Besides, I've never heard of friends who've broken up needing to miss each other every day, as if hearing her thoughts. Fu Hanzhou suddenly turned her face towards him. But I missed you very much. The way you cried that day was quite pleasant to hear. The excited love bubble filter appeared again. Nan Zhixi screamed internally. It's clearly a very normal sentence. How does it sound so full of temptation coming from his mouth? The sly fox looked with satisfaction at the shy little kitten Nan Zhixi in his arms. Nan Zhixi glanced at him and murmured, President Fu, I remember a finance magazine reviewed you after you said that. I feel like your persona has kind of collapsed. Fu Hanzhou chuckled lightly. What persona do I need? Nan Zhixi officially admitted defeat. She stood up abruptly. President Fu, if there's nothing else, I'll head out first. Fu Hanzhou pulled her hand back. What about your answer? Nan Zhixi sighed internally. He still hasn't changed his mind. She was silent for a moment, then said, President Fu, can you answer a question for me? Do you like me? Fu Hanzhou was stunned. He quickly let go of her hand. You're overthinking it. Nan Zhixi. She felt a little uncomfortable. At least he was much more straightforward than that scumbag Jiang Che who cheated on her feelings. She replied calmly. I was just guessing. Since that's the case, I still refuse Vice President Fu's proposal. Fu Hanzhou still wouldn't give up, looking straight in her eyes. Are you sure? Can you tell me why? Nan Zhixi didn't hide anything either. She said frankly, you saw it too. I was just betrayed. I don't really trust men right now, so I don't plan on starting a new relationship for the time being. Fu Hanzhou lit a cigarette in frustration. But I was talking about a long-term cooperative relationship. We'd just be bed partners, no feelings involved. Nan Zhixi almost couldn't maintain her polite smile. She immediately turned her head away. If Vice President Fu feels he's lost face because I rejected him, then as compensation, I'll treat you to a meal. Fu Hanzhou lowered his eyes. No need. Since we couldn't reach an agreement, let's end our relationship here, before I get more interested in you. You can go now. Nan Zhixi glanced at him. Goodbye then, Vice President Fu. After saying that, she left the room without looking back once. A sharp pain suddenly came from Fu Hanzhou's hand. At some point, the cigarette in his hand had nearly burned out. Fu Hanzhou gave a self-deprecating laugh, then shook his head and sighed softly. As it turned out, if you don't deliberately look for someone, the probability of meeting them in such a big city is very low. After that day, Nan Zhixi never saw Fu Hanzhou again, and the news of her breakup with Jiang Che quickly spread. Young Master Zhang's passionate romance ended swiftly in just 3 months. At the same time, Nan Zhixi also breathed a sigh of relief and felt the changes around her. Half a month later, several female employees were still engrossed in a period drama. The curly-haired one whispered, "Did you hear? She broke up with Jiang Che. Jiang Che's father is a major shareholder of our hotel. She didn't know how to hold on tight." The short-haired one covered her mouth and laughed. "Who says she didn't hold on tight? I heard they had a falling out." Jiang Che explicitly said he's going to deal with her. The straight-haired one continued, "You're talking about Nan Zhixi, right? I knew from the start she wouldn't last with a rich young master like Jiang Che." Unfortunately, her premonition was right. Director Kai angrily pointed at the report on the table. "You can even get such basic data wrong. Do you think you're still an intern? This makes me seriously doubt your professional ability." Nan Zhixi looked at the file in her hand, thinking with her head down. Although she received this urgent task very late last night, she had checked it many times before submitting it. The content was definitely correct, so it could only be that someone wanted her to make a mistake. A model employee like Nan Zhixi was rarely scolded by the boss, so her colleague Mi Xiaoxiu had to seize the opportunity to taunt her a bit. She smiled brightly. "I've noticed Nan Zhixi has been getting quite a few complaints lately. Could it be that her personal love life is affecting her work?" Nan Zhixi ignored her and placed the file in her hand on the table. "I don't know why there's an error in the cloud data, but just in case, I also printed a copy. Please see if there are any problems with this one." Director Kai's tone softened. "Really, I didn't expect you to have a backup. Leave it here, I'll look at it later." Now Nan Zhixi finally dealt with Mi Xiaoxiu. She said softly, "I've only received one complaint recently, and it wasn't for the department I'm in charge of. I also went to apologize in person as soon as it happened, and the customer expressed their understanding. I don't know where you heard about so many complaints. Suggest you pay more attention to yourself usually." Mi Xiaoxiu pointed at Nan Zhixi angrily. "What's the use of you working so hard? Jiang Che has already put the word out. Your days ahead will only get harder and harder." A corner of Nan Zhixi's mouth lifted. "Whether I can survive is my own ability. It's none of your business." As soon as Nan Zhixi returned to her seat, her colleague Lin Yuxiao ran over to ask if the director was giving her a hard time again. "It must be because Jiang Che put the word out to deal with you, that these lackeys are scrambling to contribute." Nan Zhixi was calmer than her. "What's the point of playing mind games with them? Work always leaves a trace as long as they can't find any real fault in my work. They can't do anything to me." Lin Yuxiao's phone suddenly vibrated. She opened it happily. "Wow, what kind of divine plot is this?" Nan Zhixi turned to her curiously. "What are you looking at, Lin?" Yuxiao replied, "Oh, today's headline says Fu Hanzhou is suspected of having a girlfriend, and she's a famous model." Nan Zhixi lowered her eyes, thinking, "Oh, is that so?" Lin Yuxiao continued, "Oh, there's a department gathering tomorrow night. Don't forget, I think you need to be prepared this time, Mi Xiaoxiu. That pervert Director Kai has had his eyes on you for a long time. As soon as the news of your breakup with Jiang Che came out, he couldn't wait to take advantage of you. Be smart. If you really can't handle it, just run." Nan Zhixi rubbed her head wearily. Okay, the next day, at a high-end club, Mi Xiaoxiu was sitting opposite Director Kai. He was the second in command of the department, a loyal lackey of the Jiang family. She smiled charmingly and raised her glass. "Director Kai, I must toast you properly a few times today." Director Kai glanced meaningfully at Nan Zhixi. "Nan Zhixi, you have a drink too?" Nan Zhixi waved her hand. "I took antibiotics today. I can't drink." Director Kai immediately got angry. "You said there was a gathering. Did you take the medicine on purpose?" Before he could finish, he was interrupted by a cheerful voice. "Miss Nan." It was Lu Xingqi, and the person next to him was none other than Fu Hanzhou. Director Kai was stunned and turned around. "Young Master Fu, young Master Lu." Lu Xingqi ignored him and walked straight to Nan Zhixi. Waving a greeting, "Miss Nan, it's really you we meet again." Nan Zhixi tilted her head and smiled gently. "Hello, young Master Lu." Fu Hanzhou secretly glanced at her, as if sensing something. Nan Zhixi suddenly looked up at him. Fu Hanzhou immediately turned his head away. Lu Xingqi was extremely embarrassed. He quickly said, "What, young Master Lu? Call me by my name? That's too formal." "Hanzhou, wait for me a moment," he said to her. "Nan, we're on the second floor. Come up and hang out later if you're free. After he left, the short-haired girl dared to ask Nan Zhixi, "You know young Master Lu?" Nan Zhixi answered distractedly, "We've met." A staff member walked in at the right time. "Hello, your wine has arrived," the short-haired girl quickly denied. "Are you mistaken? This bottle of wine must cost hundreds of thousands. We wouldn't dare to drink it." The staff member smiled fawningly. "That's right. Young Master Lu is treating everyone to this bottle of wine. And all of tonight's expenses will be covered by young Master Lu." Miss Xiaoshu started making sarcastic remarks again. "It's good to be pretty. It's really a waste of talent for Nan Zhixi to be in the administration department. She should be in the public relations department." Nan Zhixi rested her chin on her hand and looked at her. "Can't be helped. I was born beautiful. People like you probably can't understand my troubles." Miss Xiaoshu was furious. "Don't be so smug. Young Master Jiang has already dumped you. Let's see how long you can last in this company." Nan Zhixi stared blankly at the bottle of wine worth hundreds of thousands. "My relationship with Lu Xingqi is just so. He probably wouldn't go out of his way to help me. Could it be Fu Hanzhou?" Director Kai suddenly walked up to her. "Nan Zhixi, I actually think very highly of you. Lutra Company just opened a resort with a pretty good reputation. If we can cooperate with our hotel, you'll definitely be able to get the position of Director of Administration." Nan Zhixi shrank back to avoid his hand. "I'm not very familiar with young Master Lu. I'll help you ask next time I have a chance." She complained in her heart, a project that even their vice president might not be able to secure. "What makes him think I can? This old fox is really crazy." Director Kai was still smiling amiably. "Is that so? Actually, you don't have to wait until next time. Young Master Lu is just upstairs." Nan Zhixi guessed. Director Kai was most likely sent by Jiang Che to test me. Once he confirms that Fu Hanzhou and I have fallen out, he won't let me stay in the company. Lu Xingqi can fool those people, but he can't fool Jiang Che. She suddenly smiled brightly, her voice full of sincerity. "I've also received a lot of help from the director, so I won't hide it from you. I'm not very familiar with Lu Xingqi. He was probably giving face to someone else." Director Kai quickly pressed. Nan Zhixi rested her chin on her hand and said faintly, word by word, "Fu Hanzhou." Director Kai's voice was full of suspicion, but the vice president didn't seem to greet you just now. Nan Zhixi feigned difficulty. "I had a fight with him a couple of days ago. You know, I've been having a hard time at the company these past few days." "Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to the restroom." Director Kai bit his nails anxiously, thinking, I don't know if what she said is true or not. If it's true, and Jiang Che still wants me to fire Nan Zhixi, I might have to reconsider. Meanwhile, Miss Xiaoshu also quickly followed into the restroom. The space inside was open and soundproof. She couldn't help but start gossiping. "You really have some skills. If it's not Jiang Che, it's Lu Xingqi, acting like a saint on one hand, while being involved with so many men on the other. Aren't you tired? You're really good at pretending. Let's see how long you can keep it up." In the next second, Nan Zhixi showed her the true face she had been dying to see. She grabbed Miss Xiaoshu's hair tightly. She screamed in panic. "Ah, you dare to hit me." Nan Zhixi coldly pushed her head into the sink. "I even dared to hit Jiang Che. Who do you think you are? Haven't you heard the saying, strike first or be stricken, if you can't understand human words? I'll help you wash your mouth out. And do you know why Director Kai was so well behaved today? Because I told him the person interested in me isn't Lu Xingqi, but Fu Hanzhou. I'm no saint. Try to provoke me one more time. Let's see if you understood everything I said. You'd better watch yourself." Nan Zhixi let go of her hand. Miss Xiaoshu immediately started coughing uncontrollably, watching her pathetic retreating figure. Nan Zhixi's mood gradually brightened. Sure enough, when dealing with such outwardly strong but inwardly weak bullies, tolerance will only make her worse. Only by being more ruthless than her will she know fear. The restroom door opened again. Nan Zhixi's eyes suddenly widened. Her lips moved slightly. "Mr. Fu," she screamed internally. How much did he hear? Seeing Fu Hanzhou finish washing his hands, Nan Zhixi thoughtfully handed him a tissue. "Mr. Fu, what I said just now. I apologize to you first." Fu Hanzhou said nothing, just took out his own handkerchief, casually wiped his hands, and turned to leave. The smile on Nan Zhixi's lips gradually froze. She slapped her forehead in annoyance. "Am I having a run of bad luck? How come I run into him every time I talk to someone? He must have heard everything. I have to text him and explain. I'm sorry about what happened just now." But as soon as she pressed send, a glaring red exclamation mark blinded her. Message sent, but rejected by the recipient. Nan Zhixi gritted her teeth in anger. "Fu Hanzhou, you're so annoying." The phone in her hand rang again. Nan Zhixi hesitated slightly. An unknown number In the end, she still chose to answer, but perhaps that decision was a bit rash. A sinister laugh came from the other end of the phone. Be careful on your way home. Nan Zhixi hung up the phone expressionlessly. Jiang Che, you lunatic, what on earth are you trying to do? It's come to this, there's no way I'm going back to admit I was wrong. My only mistake is not having a powerful backer, but I will never let him do whatever he wants. Meanwhile, Fu Hanzhou had returned to the private room. Lu Xingqi looked at him teasingly. What took you so long in the restroom? I went to the restroom to look for you just now. They said you went downstairs. Lu Xingqi thought there's a restroom in the private room, yet he insisted on going downstairs if it wasn't for that person downstairs. Who would believe it? Unfortunately, Fu Hanzhou didn't take the bait, just walked past Lu Xingqi and sat straight down in a chair, lighting a cigarette. A beautiful woman approached him with a drink. President Fu, won't you have a drink? Fu Hanzhou replied coldly. No need. He lowered his eyes, Nan Zhixi's face appearing in his mind. So boring, not even half as lively as her. He stubbed out the rest of the cigarette in the ashtray. Then he stood up. Lu Xingqi quickly called out to him. Hey, leaving already? Fu Hanzhou replied. Leaving first on Nan Zhixi's side. The gathering had just ended. Several female employees kept glancing at me Xiaoxiu. The gray-haired one asked worriedly, What's wrong with me Xiaoxiu? Lin Yuxia replied, I don't know. Nan Zhixi's eyes flickered slightly. A luxury car suddenly stopped in front of her. The female employees immediately started gossiping. The gray-haired one asked in confusion, Isn't that Fu Hanzhou's car? The short-haired one added, The license plate number is so good. Nan Zhixi's heart sank. Crap, me Xiaoxiu, feeling emboldened, continued her sarcastic remarks. Some people aren't afraid of biting their tongue when they brag, claiming to know President Fu, without thinking if President Fu even knows who she is. Look, he can't even be bothered to stop. Everyone was confused. Who is she talking about? Nan Zhixi secretly observed Director Kai's expression. Director Kai has already noticed Jiang Che will be coming for me soon. The luxury car finally made a move. A man opened the car door and got out. This person was none other than Fu Hanzhou's special assistant, Zhao Yu. Zhao Yu bowed politely. Miss Nan Zhixi. Before Nan Zhixi could respond, Director Kai rushed up excitedly. Assistant Zhao, long time no see. Long time no see. Zhao Yu's expression didn't change. Miss Nan Zhixi, if you have any work needs, you can contact the number on this business card. Nan Zhixi chuckled lightly. Assistant Zhao, could I trouble you to make an appointment with Vice President Fu for me? I'd like to thank him in person. Zhao Yu replied, of course. I will pass it on to Vice President Fu. After the car drove away, Lin Yuxia grinning and gave Nan Zhixi a thumbs up. She glanced at me Xiaoxiu, her lips barely moving. Insignificant clown. Mi Xiaoxiu gritted her teeth. What did you say? You dare to laugh at me? Nan Zhixi replied coldly. If you don't want people to talk, then don't do it. Mind your own business. Don't just make things up all day. Mi Xiaoxiu turned and left in a huff, not forgetting to leave a threat before she went. You're only arrogant now. It's just that Vice President Fu finds you novel for the time being. I'll be watching with my eyes wide open for you to be abandoned. Nan Zhixi couldn't be bothered with her. She turned to Lin Yuxia and asked, I drove here. Do you want to ride home? Lin Yuxia replied, no need. I'm waiting for my family to pick me up here. Nan Zhixi didn't linger. She waved her hand. See you tomorrow then. Nan Zhixi went down to the building's underground parking lot and was about to open her car door. Her hand suddenly froze, on the passenger seat. The bag of bread is moving. She frowned in confusion. I don't remember opening the bread. What's that sound? Did someone get into my car? It must be Jiang Che behind this. Did he send someone? Don't panic. Call the police. Just then, a cold hand landed on her shoulder. Nan Zhixi screamed in panic. Let go of me. As soon as the hand left, Nan Zhixi immediately turned around, only to find it was Fu Hanzhou. He looked at her with concern. What's wrong? What happened? Nan Zhixi said timidly in fear. Someone was following me just now. Fu Hanzhou reassured her. It was just a passerby. You're overthinking it. Nan Zhixi pointed at her car, her tone firm. There's really a problem. Someone tampered with my car. There's something in that bag of bread. Fu Hanzhou walked over, frowning, and carefully peeled open the bag of bread. Halfway through, the tail of a long-tailed hamster was revealed. Fu Hanzhou waved for his bodyguard to check her car, and then called the police. The bodyguard immediately complied. Yes, Fu Hanzhou pulled the trembling Nan Zhixi into his arms. Get in the car. Come with me. What, you want to refuse again? Seeing she still didn't move, his voice turned cold. Then, suit yourself. Nan Zhixi suddenly grabbed his shirt. I can't move. Fu Hanzhou was stunned. She turned her face away in embarrassment. My legs have gone soft. Fu Hanzhou picked her up. Not much courage, but quite a temper. You knew what would happen if you provoked a mad dog, yet you still had to do it. Then he sighed softly. I'll take you home. The car was spacious, but the two didn't change their position. Sitting closely together, after calming down, Nan Zhixi wanted to move away awkwardly. Fu Hanzhou suddenly spoke. Miss Nan, don't randomly rub against a man's body. Her cheeks flushed red. The ambiguous bubbles appeared again. She quickly changed the subject. Didn't Vice President Fu leave just now? Fu Hanzhou chuckled lightly. You're very concerned about my movements. Nan Zhixi wanted to push him away. No, it's just that at the intersection just now, someone said the car that drove away was yours. Fu Hanzhou replied. I've been here the whole time. The one who left was my assistant. He went out to run an errand. Nan Zhixi's voice became smaller. Okay then. Thank you for today. Fu Hanzhou's brow furrowed unconsciously, and his voice turned cold. I didn't stop here specifically for you, so you don't need to thank me. An awkward atmosphere enveloped the two. The driver suddenly spoke. Vice President Fu, are we going home? Fu Hanzhou replied, to the Baoyu mansion. Take her home first. Nan Zhixi stared blankly at his chiseled profile. He clearly saved me tonight. But would a famously ruthless figure in the business world like Fu Hanzhou really help me for no reason? The car stopped. The driver immediately spoke. Vice President Fu, we've arrived. Fu Hanzhou looked at Nan Zhixi. Get out. She got out of the car, not forgetting to say, Vice President Fu, thank you so much for today. Before she could finish, Fu Hanzhou followed her out of the car. Nan Zhixi let out a surprised cry. Seeing he was still standing there, she scratched her nose awkwardly. Vice President Fu, you could just drop me off here, Fu Hanzhou replied. If Jiang Che can send people to mess with your car, can't I have people waiting at your door? Nan Zhixi forced a smile. He's really capable of that. As if waiting for these words, Fu Hanzhou suddenly lowered his head and leaned in close. So, you really don't need me to walk you upstairs. Nan Zhixi scratched her cheek awkwardly. Then I'll have to trouble President Fu to take me home. Fu Hanzhou replied. Let's go. Not much courage, but your way of doing things is quite reckless. What kind of person is Jiang Che? Haven't you heard before? How dare you retaliate against him in front of everyone without being fully prepared? Nan Zhixi spoke softly to the playboy. I agreed to his pursuit back then because he was very sincere at the time, and I thought there was no harm in trying. It's just that I really don't care about his reputation. Seeing that she said no more, Fu Hanzhou uttered 2 words, continue. Nan Zhixi sighed inwardly, wondering why it felt like she was reporting to a superior. She thought for a moment and then said, I admit I have a fiery temper and hold grudges, but since Jiang Che framed me time and time again, I had to let him know that not everything can go his way. However, to President Fu, I should still apologize to you. I shouldn't have, after rejecting you, mentioned our past relationship in front of my colleagues just to make myself look better. Fu Hanzhou looked deeply into Nan Zhixi's eyes and suddenly said, your taste in men is really not that great. Nan Zhixi lowered her head and smiled self-deprecatingly. Was he saying I'd rather play emotional games with a scumbag like Jiang Che than agree to be with him? But he's too out of reach. If a breakup angered him, my situation would be even more difficult. Perhaps her expression was too unsightly. As Fu Hanzhou suddenly took her hand, stop thinking about it. It's getting late. Aren't you leaving? Nan Zhixi quickly came to her senses. She let out a no, pretending to understand. When they arrived at her door, she hesitated and asked Fu Hanzhou, President Fu, would you like to come in for a glass of water? He lowered his gaze. I won't come in. If you don't close the door soon, I'll take it as an invitation for me to come in. She immediately ran into the house. Then I'm going in. The corner of Fu Hanzhou's mouth curled up unconsciously. Ha, a woman who doesn't know what's good for her. Inside, Nan Zhixi was carefully peeking at him through the peephole. He hasn't left yet. Forget it. I've apologized anyway. He told me to go in. He can't possibly cause trouble for me like Jiang Che, right? It's been too chaotic lately. Maybe I should consider changing jobs? Nan Zhixi suddenly stopped in her tracks. She had a bad feeling. Something's not right. Someone else has been in my bedroom. Where's my phone? I need to report this quickly. Just as she expected, the door behind her suddenly opened. It was Jiang Che, who excitedly grabbed her by the hair. Nan Zhixi screamed in panic. No matter how she struggled, his hand was like an iron clamp, pinning her tightly against the wall. Coming back so late, it seems you've been pretending all along, leaving work on time every day just so I wouldn't see you at the company. Nan Zhixi, where do you think you can run? Didn't I say I'd make you die a horrible death? A ferocious look flashed across Jiang Che's face. His hand then moved to grip Nan Zhixi's chin tightly. You bitch. However Fu Hanzhou played with you today, I'll play with you the same way. Then I'll send the video to Fu Hanzhou, and then send your photos for the whole world to see. Who told you to act so high and mighty? Nan Zhixi trembled, weakly grabbing his hand and crying out, Fu Hanzhou, save me. Jiang Che's grip tightened, and he said through gritted teeth, so what about Fu Hanzhou? Does he even remember what you are? Just a thing that's already been played with. You might as well save your energy and beg me. He threw onto the bed and quickly unbuckled his belt. Seeing the terrified look in Nan Zhixi's eyes, he sneered, still not giving up? In the middle of the night, who's going to care about you? You might as well think about how you're going to serve me later. Nan Zhixi quickly grabbed the table lamp from the bedside and smashed it at him. I'd rather be bitten by a dog than do it with someone like you. You can forget about it. Jiang Che gritted his teeth, clutching the arm that was hit. You hit me, you bitch. I'll fucking kill you. Suddenly, Jiang Che's voice came to an abrupt halt, replaced by a whooshing sound as his face took a solid punch. He clutched his cheek in pain. Ouch, President Fu, why haven't you left yet? What are you trying to do? Don't you come over here. Fu Hanzhou lifted Jiang Che up, softening his voice as much as possible. Nan Zhixi, wait for me here. The door was closed, but Jiang Che's miserable screams could still be heard. President Fu, is it really worth it for a woman? Stop hitting me. A moment later, the door opened again, and Fu Hanzhou carefully observed Nan Zhixi's expression, his voice unexpectedly gentle. Can you still move? She subconsciously grabbed his shirt, sobbing, yes, it's a good thing you came. If you weren't here, I really don't know what would have happened. Fu Hanzhou stroked her hair soothingly. Go pack your things. Just listen to my arrangements for the rest. No matter what sounds you hear, don't come out. Nan Zhixi nodded, and Fu Hanzhou went out again. A bodyguard came forward and asked, President Fu, are you all right? He felt a chill run down his spine. The president is truly furious. He rolled up his sleeves and walked straight towards Jiang Che. You've really got some nerve to be able to piss me off like this. You're the first. He stomped hard on his hand. Which hand did you use? How many times did you hit her? What are you trying to do? What do you want to do to her? Jiang Che said weakly. Fu Hanzhou, are you trying to kill someone? Fu Hanzhou placed a finger to his lips. Does Fu Hanzhou really care about Nan Zhixi this much? It was just a one-night stand. She's not even his official girlfriend. Is it necessary for him to be this angry? Jiang Che's face was filled with terror, his mind racing, and then he begged for mercy. I promise, I'll never do it again. Please let me go. I'll never go near her again. Fu Hanzhou ignored his words, grabbed her by the collar, and growled. Too late. After that sentence, screams echoed through the room. Nan Zhixi, who was packing her things, trembled all over, trying to calm herself down while she worked. The door suddenly opened with a click, startling Nan Zhixi. Are you packed? Fu Hanzhou asked softly. Yes. Hearing his voice, Nan Zhixi breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the fragile woman before him, Fu Hanzhou couldn't help but step forward and gently pulled her into his arms to comfort her. Don't be afraid, he won't come back again. Nan Zhixi rested her head on his chest and hummed in agreement. A moment later, they were already in the car. Fu Hanzhou fastened Nan Zhixi's seatbelt while giving instructions. I'll have security check the entire place and hand the evidence over to the police. What about Jiang Che? She asked curiously. I had someone send him to the police station. Fu Hanzhou leaned in close as he spoke, and then buckled the seatbelt. Nan Zhixi looked away, a little embarrassed. Do I need to give a statement? It's late. I'll have someone arrange it tomorrow. Thank you. She was in Fu Hanzhou's car again, but her mood was completely different this time. She didn't even ask where he was going, but she herself didn't dare to go back to that apartment. After a while, at the Fu family villa, Nan Zhixi followed Fu Hanzhou inside. She had thought he would take her to a hotel. Was he taking her home? She called out, Mr. Fu. Fu Hanzhou turned around and instructed, go wash up. You'll stay here for now. Seeing her dazed look, he asked, what's wrong? Afraid of me? Don't worry. After that fight, I'm not in the mood. Nan Zhixi quickly waved her hands in denial. No, that's not it. I'm afraid of your girlfriend. Fu Hanzhou frowned slightly. Who told you I have a girlfriend? Nan Zhixi scratched her face in a fluster. The internet said so. Also, how was the result of the experiment? Fu Hanzhou suddenly changed the subject. Nan Zhixi didn't understand what he was talking about and asked for clarification. Fu Hanzhou crossed his arms and said seriously, didn't you say you wanted to give it a try? You picked a target without even doing a background check and went straight for it. How did that turn out? As he spoke, he looked at her blank face, sighed helplessly, and rubbed his forehead. Forget it. Go get some rest. Watching him walk back to his room, Nan Zhixi couldn't help but think, I really didn't expect Jiang Che to be such a violent scumbag, but it feels like he was angry just now. Afterward, it was the president's shower time. Fu Hanzhou was currently standing naked under the shower head, his six-pack abs clearly visible. Suddenly, the phone next to him rang. After finishing his shower, Fu Hanzhou picked up the phone to answer. A voice came from the other end. Weren't you going home? Why did you suddenly send Jiang Che over? I sent him because I wanted to. Do I need a reason? Fu Hanzhou replied nonchalantly. That's not right. Don't tell me you've caught feelings. The voice on the other end sounded incredulous. Are you saying you could just stand by and watch a man hit a woman? Fu Hanzhou retorted. Lu Xingxi said with certainty, stop pretending. You know what I mean. That Nan Zhixi must be something special to you. If that counts as having feelings, then the women you've dated could line up from the Lu Corporation to a city. Hey, you can't say that. Before young Master Lu could finish, Fu Hanzhou hung up the phone, unable to help but wonder, did I make the wrong decision tonight? He helped me again. How should I thank him? Fu Hanzhou probably doesn't lack anything. Nan Zhixi thought as she lay in bed, but couldn't come up with anything and just sighed. Just as she was about to close her eyes and sleep, she heard a knock on the door and a voice. Are you asleep? Nan Zhixi quickly sat up, frowning in confusion. It's so late. What does he want? President Fu, is something the matter? She called out. You have bruises. Remember to apply the ointment. I left it at your door. Fu Hanzhou replied. Nan Zhixi later got up to open the door, but he was already gone, replaced by a box of medicine on the floor. Nan Zhixi bent down to pick it up, a strange warmth spreading in her heart. She murmured, thank you, President Fu. I didn't even notice my own injuries. Yet Fu Hanzhou was so considerate. It seems he's not quite like the rumors say. The next morning, when she came downstairs, she saw the president reading the newspaper with another person beside him. Fu Hanzhou lowered his newspaper slightly. Let's proceed with this for now. You go handle it. The other person replied, yes, Vice President, we'll take care of it. Seeing Nan Zhixi come down, he said, come over here. Nan Zhixi smiled gently. Good morning, Vice President. Yes, have breakfast first, he said. Nan Zhixi walked to the table and sat down, asking, aren't you eating, Vice President? I've already eaten. If you don't have anything on today, take a leave of absence from the company and go to the police station to give a statement. Assistant Zhao will help you. Hearing this, Nan Zhixi was a bit puzzled. How long will Jiang Che be locked up? He looked at her, his voice as if stating the obvious. How long do you want him to be locked up? Nan Zhixi didn't answer, her brows slightly furrowed. Jiang Che will find the best lawyer. It's obvious he won't be locked up for long, and when he gets out, he'll definitely retaliate against me. As if seeing through her worries, he continued, don't worry. Pulling up the radish will bring out the mud. The entire Jiang family isn't clean. Although it won't be resolved quickly, at least he won't come to trouble you again. Hearing this, Nan Zhixi breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. Then Fu Hanzhou suggested, you can stay here during this time. That's not very appropriate, is it? Nan Zhixi refused. There's nothing inappropriate about it. Fu Hanzhou rested his chin on his hand, his voice meaningful. Vice President, you've really helped me a lot. There must be a reason for all this. I can understand that you need a bed partner to satisfy your physical needs, and I am the one you've chosen. It has nothing to do with feelings. And besides, if I remember correctly, I was the one who initiated it in the first place. I admit my experience was quite good. So even by that standard, you and I are equal in this regard, right? I won't be a kept woman, nor will I accept any gifts from you. When we need each other, we can just call and arrange to meet. What do you think? Hearing Nan Zhixi's proposal, Fu Hanzhou was surprised, and he asked in a slightly deep voice, being my lover or being a bed partner? Which one do you choose? Nan Zhixi thought for a moment. If I become his lover, the resources I could get would definitely be things I can't access, but I don't want that. Then she said with certainty, that's right, I'll only accept the latter. Fu Hanzhou was puzzled. You're even refusing basic gifts? Forget the gifts. It'll be troublesome to deal with when we break up in the future. Nan Zhixi replied calmly. The president frowned slightly. I don't like taking advantage of people. Nan Zhixi didn't notice the displeasure in his eyes and answered casually. Does the vice president want to make a deal with me? The vice president isn't taking advantage of me. The vice president's physical fitness is already the best gift among my new ways to de-stress. Speaking of which, Fu Hanzhou finally couldn't listen anymore. He stood up quickly, clenching his hands in annoyance, and said, as you wish. Then he looked at her with a resentful expression. Someone like Jiang Che could be your ex-boyfriend, but when it comes to me, I'm not good enough. Seeing his expression, Nan Zhixi felt extremely confused. After Fu Hanzhou left in a huff, she wondered to herself, why did he suddenly get so angry? Just then, a man poked his head in from outside and said, Miss Nan, your house is still under investigation. The chairman's intention is for you to stay here temporarily. Whenever you're ready, you can go give your statement. I'll go now. Nan Zhixi replied happily, thinking to herself, since he didn't kick me out immediately, he must have agreed to my proposal. All right. In the car, the man handed her a document and said, this is Jiang Che's statement from the police station yesterday. He said yesterday's assault was just a bit of fun between lovers. What the hell is this? Nan Zhixi thought to herself, holding the document. I don't agree to a private settlement. I'm sticking to my principles on this matter. The vice president said he respects your decision and will also help you find a good lawyer. Hearing this, Nan Zhixi secretly felt fortunate. She really had to thank Fu Hanzhou for this. He didn't have to get involved at all. Whatever crimes the Jiang family committed had nothing to do with the Fu Corporation. Then the man added, Mrs. Jiang came by last night. She was a bit emotional. I suggest you avoid a direct confrontation with her later. Nan Zhixi was slightly surprised. Jiang Che's mother? Whether there's a conflict or not depends entirely on the other party. I don't want to provoke her. But as soon as they arrived at the police station, they saw Nan Zhixi appear. Speak of the devil. She immediately rushed out and started cursing. You're the one who reported my son, aren't you? Jiang Che's mother approached her, her face full of anger, and roared, is this what you have to say to my son? You vicious woman. As she spoke, she was about to swing her hand to slap Nan Zhixi, but Nan Zhixi quickly grabbed her wrist, her tone not the least bit humble. Madam, openly assaulting someone at the entrance of a police station is against the law. Hearing this, she flinched and pulled her hand back. Stop pretending with me. You're just deliberately trying to frame my Jiang Che. Mrs. Jiang, instead of harassing me here, you should think about what your son has done. If he didn't break the law, how could I report him? Did I force him to follow me and threaten me with a knife? Mrs. Zhang trembled with anger, one arm held by a police officer, but her other hand still pointed at Nan Zhixi, roaring, don't act innocent in front of me. I've seen plenty of girls like you. Name your price. How much will it take for you to drop the charges? Nan Zhixi ignored her and turned to another police officer. You all heard her. She's attacking me. I will not accept mediation. I only trust the law. Let the sentence be whatever it should be. You bitch! Who do you think you are? She was still shouting threats, even as she was being dragged away. The Jiang family will not let you go. Officer, let's go. Nan Zhixi couldn't be bothered to pay attention and said with a smile. Assistant Zhao, who had witnessed everything, nodded in admiration, thinking he must report the situation to the president. President, Assistant Zhao, said. Miss Nan ran into Mrs. Zhang, but she seems perfectly capable of handling it herself. Do we really not need our people to intervene? Fu Hanzhou's voice was slightly surprised, but he still instructed carefully, don't be careless. Protect her well. Then he added, if she finishes her statement early, bring her to Chuwei Restaurant to have a meal with me. Just as Fu Hanzhou hung up, Lu Xingxi popped out of nowhere. Busy, are we? He asked mockingly. Fu Hanzhou replied calmly, are you very free right now? Lu Xingxi shrugged. I have business. You sent the Jiang father and son to prison, but we're also invested in their company's project. Give me a clear answer. What do you mean? Do we have to follow the trend? Fu Hanzhou picked up his cup and took a sip of tea, his voice deepening. If you break the law, you go to prison. Do I need to teach you that? Then it seems this kid is going to be locked up for a while. Lu Xingxi had no interest in talking further. Then he suddenly changed the subject. Also, Song Jiao is planning to go to the seaside later. I heard it's his girlfriend's birthday. Are you going? Fu Hanzhou looked at the tea in his hand, thinking for a moment she might be getting out of the police station soon. Then he smiled gently and refused directly. I'm not going. I have a date. Seeing Fu Hanzhou's expression, Lu Xingxi got goosebumps. It's too mushy, and he's been unreachable lately. Could he have really caught feelings? On Nan Zhixi's side, Assistant Zhao handed over a folder and said, now that the statement is done, let's leave the rest to our lawyers. Nan Zhixi replied happily, thank you for your help. We're just following orders. Assistant Zhao replied with a smile. Then he asked, is Miss Nan free later? President Fu has invited you to Chuwei Restaurant for lunch together. Nan Zhixi didn't refuse and nodded. I don't have any plans. You can go back to the company and get busy. I'll go over by myself later. All right, then I'll head back first. After saying goodbye, Assistant Zhao couldn't help but sigh. The president really values her, It seems I'll have to be more polite to this Miss Nan in the future. As for Nan Zhixi, she was currently thinking, since we're having lunch together, should I take this opportunity to go to the mall and buy a thank you gift? Just as Nan Zhixi opened her phone, a call came in, catching her a bit off guard. The caller was an aunt of hers, someone she hadn't contacted since her marriage, but they had been close for many years. She's suddenly looking for me, Nan Zhixi said to herself. Then she answered the call. Jingji, are you free now? Nan Zhixi asked with concern. Andy, what's wrong? The other party quickly replied, I'm fine. It's your Yutong. She got into a fight at school, and the other party fell down the stairs and is hospitalized. Her father and I are both out of town, so I'll have to trouble you to come to the school. I understand. Andy, don't worry. Thinking of this reluctant sister of hers, Nan Zhixi frowned slightly. Yang Yutong has caused trouble again. That child is also her stepmother's daughter. Otherwise, she really wouldn't want to bother with her. After a while, Nan Zhixi arrived at the school and saw Yang Yutong sitting alone. She called out, Yang Yutong. Seeing her, the girl was a little surprised, then said unhappily, Why is it you? I didn't ask you to come. It must be that meddling aunt of yours again. A mistress really thinks she's my mother. Nan Zhixi was clearly displeased and corrected Yang Yutong's words. My aunt and your father were in a consensual relationship. Don't just call her a mistress. Our family hasn't spent a single penny of your family's money. Yang Yutong, I can tolerate you, but I can't tolerate her. You'd better be good later. Otherwise, if they put you in jail, I'll set off firecrackers to celebrate. Hearing this, the girl's face turned pale with fright, and she stammered. Will I really go to jail? Nan Zhixi crossed her arms and said calmly, I asked the doctor. She's a dancer. Use your brain. If she really can't dance because of you, do you think they'll let you off? Apologize sincerely later. This is a matter of life and death. A moment later, Nan Zhixi led Yang Yutong to a room door. She knocked and said to the inside, Hello. We're here to visit. A voice came from inside. Come in. The concise words startled Nan Zhixi. Why does this voice sound so familiar? Sure enough, as soon as she entered the room and took one look, Nan Zhixi recognized an old acquaintance, and she couldn't help but resent how could this troublemaker Yang Yutong have provoked him. The man slowly turned his head, and this handsome man was none other than the heir to the Shi group, Shi Li. Yang Yutong hid behind Nan Zhixi in fear. She was also a little nervous and said, Young Master Shi. He glanced at her and replied coldly, Director Nan, speak. Nan Zhixi felt a chill in her heart. Although she had seen him at banquets before, she never expected to meet him again under these circumstances. This Shi Li is really hard to get close to. I'm afraid this can't be settled privately this time. She pulled Yang Yutong out and said sincerely, Young Master Shi, this matter is our family's failure to discipline our child. Please see what compensation is needed. We will definitely do our best. Shi Li remained indifferent. My uncle only has this one daughter. The whole family dotes on her. Now I don't even know if she can continue to dance. What can you offer as compensation? Nan Zhixi was frustrated. The Shi family lacks nothing. Even if they paid money, they wouldn't care for it. What's your relationship? Shi Li asked. She's my sister, I guess. Nan Zhixi replied. This sister of yours doesn't seem to see you as a sister, Shi Li said faintly, then turned to Yang Yutong. You go out first. I have something to ask this good sister of yours. As soon as Yang Yutong heard this, she ran off. Seeing this, Nan Zhixi was dumbfounded. This ungrateful brat. Shi Li sat down in a chair, took out a lighter, and played with it in his hand. The matter with Jiang Che. Was that you? We're somewhat related, Nan Zhixi replied. Shirley Dong lit a cigarette, took a drag, and continued, My family doesn't need the compensation, but I can give you face and not call the police on that cheap sister of yours. Nan Zhixi was taken aback for a moment. Is Master sure serious? Giving me face is also giving young Master Han face. He stood up and said nonchalantly, I'll go to young Master Han personally to discuss the terms. We'll meet again. Nan Zhixi felt a sense of relief and said with a smile, Master, sure, I'll remember this favor. Then she thought to herself, I owe Fu Hanzhou again. Shirley Dong watched her leave, a meaningful smile playing on his lips. I have to tell young Master Han that favors aren't given for free. How did it go? Can we leave now? Yang Yudong asked with a smile upon seeing Nan Zhixi walk out. She frowned in displeasure and said, If it weren't for you, I couldn't be bothered with this mess of yours. What do you mean by that? Yang Yudong interrupted, retorting indignantly, Are you saying I'm a burden? Then leave. I never asked you to meddle in my business. Nan Zhixi sneered. So you dare talk back to me now? Why didn't you say anything earlier? It seems you're well aware that no one out there likes you, so stop acting so self-righteous. Yang Yudong retorted, did you see the way that man was looking at you just now? You think I don't understand? Nan Zhixi scoffed and asked, what kind of look? Yang Yudong answered bluntly, he was checking out your figure. He's interested in you. You're just like your aunt. Both vixens. Nan Zhixi didn't take the words to heart, but she still warned, you can say whatever you want about me, but show some respect for my aunt. Otherwise, I won't need anyone else to teach you a lesson on your father's behalf. With that, she stepped into the elevator, leaving Yang Yudong behind, seething and grinding her teeth. Nan Zhixi sighed softly, leaning against the elevator wall, thinking with mixed feelings. That being said, she is my only relative. After all, I don't want to put my aunt in a difficult position. Just then, her phone rang. Looking at the screen, she saw it was Assistant Zhao. What does he want with me? She wondered, and then it suddenly hit her. Oh no, I had a lunch date with Fu Hanzhou today. How could I have forgotten? Meanwhile, Fu Hanzhou sat alone for a while, lost in thought. Was she held up by something? Why isn't she here yet? Just then, a text message appeared on his phone. He picked it up, and his expression changed instantly. They had agreed to have lunch, but she had gone to see Shi Li Dong instead. Just then, Nan Zhixi called. He answered, thinking, let's see what she has to say. A gentle and apologetic voice came from the other end of the line. Something came up last minute, so I stood you up. How about I cook dinner for you tonight? What do you want to eat? Anything at all? Fu Hanzhou asked with a half-joking, half-serious smile. Hearing this, Nan Zhixi was happy, thinking he wasn't angry. She replied with a smile, I can try. I'll do my best to satisfy you. That's what I was waiting to hear. The old fox, Fu Hanzhou, smiled meaningfully, steadily swirling the wine in his glass. His voice dropped slightly. As for you, I'm quite hungry. Nan Zhixi's face turned beet red, and she became incoherent. Hearing this greasy line, he chuckled playfully on the other end of the phone. Just kidding. I'll eat whatever you make. Hearing this, Nan Zhixi relaxed and replied with a bright smile. Okay, see you later then. Miss Nan, a voice, so polite it was startling, suddenly sounded from behind her that we were sent by Vice President Fu. It's about to rain. Do you need a ride? Nan Zhixi turned to look at the man, surprised. Vice President Fu's men? You've been following me. The man scratched his head awkwardly and quickly explained, we are private bodyguards hired by the Fu Group, responsible for your safety. We won't appear before you unless necessary. Hearing this, a warm feeling washed over Nan Zhixi. She marveled inwardly. Fu Hanzhou is such a thoughtful person. In that case, I like to go to Vice President Fu's villa. Could you drop me off at a nearby supermarket? She thought to herself. I heard his mother is from Haicheng, so buying some chicken and ribs to cook should be a safe bet. Meanwhile, on the other side, Fu Hanzhou was still clutching his phone, the screen still displaying his conversation with Nan Zhixi. Seeing Fu Hanzhou staring intently at his phone, the middle-aged man beside him couldn't help but ask curiously, Vice President Fu, you've been looking at your phone all evening. Is there something urgent? Without taking his eyes off the screen, Fu Hanzhou replied half-jokingly, I picked up a stray cat last night. I wonder if she's bored at home. Hearing this, the two men chuckled along. Ah, no wonder Vice President Fu has this side to him. It seems you can't wait. We won't disturb your pleasant engagement any longer. You should head home, Vice President Fu. Waiting for exactly those words, Fu Hanzhou immediately stood up to leave. I'll be going then. Let's get together again when we have the chance. With that, he strode briskly out, leaving the two men to exchange a few more words. It seems Vice President Fu's little cat is quite special. Indeed, it's the first time I've seen him in such a hurry. Before long, Fu Hanzhou pushed open the door and walked into the spacious villa. The moment he saw the scene inside, his eyes lit up with pleasant surprise. These are all my favorites, he thought, a warm feeling spreading through his heart. His gaze swept over the sofa and suddenly stopped. He found that Nan Zhixi had fallen asleep while waiting for him to come home. He couldn't help but walk quickly to her side, gently reaching out to caress Nan Zhixi's beautiful sleeping face. Go sleep in the bedroom, he said softly, his voice full of tenderness and affection. With that, he swept her up into his arms. Startled awake by his sudden movement, Nan Zhixi slowly opened her eyes. She gradually looked up at the man's well-defined face and said softly, the food is cold. Fu Hanzhou smiled knowingly. He thought to himself, she's only this delicate when she's asleep. Suddenly, Nan Zhixi wrapped her arms around his shoulders, pulling them closer, and gently sniffed the faint fragrance on Fu Hanzhou. She frowned slightly, her voice tinged with concern. That you've been drinking? I'll go make you some soup to sober you up. Fu Hanzhou looked directly into her clear eyes. He teased her in a low voice. Can you tell what kind of wine it is? Romani Connie. She hesitated for a moment before saying the name of the wine he had drunk. The moment the words left her lips, Fu Hanzhou leaned down and captured her red lips in a kiss. After pulling away from her lips, he continued to look straight into her eyes and asked, "What year? For every wrong guess, I'll kiss you once." Hearing this, Nan Zhixi's face grew even redder. She quickly raised a hand to cover Fu Hanzhou's mouth, exclaiming in a fluster, "Wouldn't that just be a treat for you? Let's eat first." Fu Hanzhou looked at her adorable expression. He laughed happily, his eyes crinkling, and replied, "All right." Then he asked, "What made you decide to cook these dishes?" Nan Zhixi looked at him, a little flustered. "You don't like them?" Fu Hanzhou turned and leaned close to her face, saying softly, "I love them." Nan Zhixi, a bit embarrassed, quickly turned her head away from him. "Then I'll go to the kitchen to heat up the food." Nan Zhixi was heating up the food, but her mind was elsewhere. She thought, "Is he always like this?" Then suddenly, a warm hand gently wrapped around her from behind. She tilted her head slightly to look at Fu Hanzhou and asked, "What's wrong?" He whispered, his voice full of a playful coyness, "Hurry up, I'm hungry." Nan Zhixi smiled gently and suggested, "How about I serve you a bowl first, and you can eat slowly?" But an old fox is an old fox, after all. Nan Zhixi was completely unguarded as she heard him nibble gently at her ear and whisper, "I want to taste something else." And so, the two became entangled once more, inseparable. He kissed her lips softly while casually turning off the stove. Looking at the girl before him, dazed from his kisses, he couldn't resist lifting her up and gently placing her on the kitchen counter, continuing to lock their lips in a deep and passionate kiss, as if to drown all her senses in affection. His hands were not idle either, starting from under the hem of her dress, exploring deeper, igniting every point of contact on her body. She quickly broke away from his lips and said shyly, "Back to the bedroom." Then what was meant to happen, happened, and what was meant to be done was done. After the storm, Nan Zhixi was exhausted and fell asleep. Fu Hanzhou, however, continued to gaze at her intently, his hand gently stroking her beautiful sleeping face. Nan Zhixi subconsciously pushed his hand away. "Stop it." Then, as if remembering something, she startled awake, her voice slightly panicked. "I'm sorry." Fu Hanzhou paused for a moment. Then he pulled her into his arms, comforting her gently. "It's my fault for disturbing your sleep. What are you apologizing for? If my girlfriend doesn't even have the right to be angry, then that's my problem." Hearing these cloying sweet nothings, Nan Zhixi froze, thinking, I never expected Fu Hanzhou to be so good at coaxing people. But I wonder how many girls he said this to. Suddenly, she said in a slightly softer voice, "Actually, I lied to you. I got together with Jiang Che, not because I needed a boyfriend at the time." As she spoke, her voice carried a trace of bitterness. It was because on my birthday, he was the one who wished me a happy birthday at midnight. It had been a long time since I'd celebrated my birthday. Suddenly, she turned to ask him if the decision was ridiculous, but Fu Hanzhou didn't answer directly with words. Instead, he lowered his head and kissed her, and so they continued to exchange sweet words of love, savoring those intoxicating feelings together. The next morning, the two sat neatly together for breakfast. "I want to go home today," she said suddenly. Fu Hanzhou put down his cup and asked her, "When will you be back?" Nan Zhixi quickly replied, "You can call me if you're not busy." He suggested, "All right, I'll take you home after we eat." Hearing this, Nan Zhixi said happily, "Okay, thank you so much." Once in the car, he suddenly asked her again, "Have you ever thought about changing jobs?" Nan Zhixi thought for a moment and replied, "I have, but I've worked so hard for the department head position. Now that the opportunity is right in front of me, I don't want to just give up." Fu Hanzhou didn't press further after hearing her answer, only suggesting, "When you change your mind, you can come to me." She replied with a smile, "I will." The moment Nan Zhixi arrived at the company, she heard whispers around her. What do you think happened that she didn't come to work yesterday? Is that even question? She went to help Jiang Che. I've said it before, women like her never come to a good end. Although she couldn't hear clearly, Nan Zhixi still felt that something was off. She wondered, why does the atmosphere feel so strange? "Nan Zhixi," a panicked voice called out. stopping her. A female colleague of hers rushed over with her phone. Something's happened. Look at this. Nan Zhixi frowned slightly, looking at the content. Breaking news. Uncovering the source of wealthy heir Jiang Che's immense fortune. The colleague continued. The Jiang family's affair is all over the city. Chairman Jiang is being investigated for money laundering involving a huge sum. It's all over the news, and it's even affecting the group's stock price. The intelligent Nan Zhixi quickly understood everything, her voice dropping slightly as, oh, these people think that because I was Jiang Che's girlfriend, I was also involved in this dirty business? Nan Zhixi's colleague also spoke up for her indignantly. Yeah, you took a day off yesterday, and they're all saying you rushed off to help the Jiang family transfer assets. But Nan Zhixi paid no mind to these trivial matters, tossing her hair confidently and saying, when Jiang Che targeted me, they said I was dumped. Now, they're saying I'm part of the Jiang family. The female colleague couldn't help but ask her worriedly, so what should we do? Should we go and explain? Nan Zhixi crossed her arms and replied calmly, it's useless to explain to this bunch of fair-weather people. If you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to fear. But just as she finished speaking, a voice and a gloating laugh came from a distance. Supervisor, the company's investigation team is here for you.